We have some breaking news out of Edmonton this morning as the Oilers have their backs up against the wall when it comes to two of their younger players on the roster with Philip Broberg and Dylan Holloway. All that and more here on Oilers Digest. But make sure to subscribe here to Oilers Digest as 86% of you watching these videos have not yet subscribed to the channel. Make sure to do so as we get into the breaking news that, shattered my world and the worlds of other Oiler fans all around here. So, without further ado, sheet hits the fan. Yes, there's been some news earlier this morning that the St. Louis Blues, their general manager and president of hockey operations, Doug Armstrong, announced today that the Oilers players Philip Broberg and Dylan Holloway were tendered offer sheets by the St. Louis Blues. Of course, the Oilers do have 7 days to exercise their right of first refusal on each of the players per Section 10.3 of the NHL's CBA. And now, of course, I wasn't expecting this. A lot of other people were not expecting this. Of course, this news broke at 9 o'clock Eastern this morning, so it was quite a culture shock to see earlier in the morning. Of course, I was not home at the time it broke, and then here we are now. Of course, Philip Broberg, 23, has played 81 games for the Oilers over the last 3 seasons. He was Ken Holland's very first draft pick, registering 2 goals and 11 assists after being selected in the first round in the 2019 NHL draft. Of course, there are a lot of question marks regarding Philip Broberg, his spot in the lineup, and with, this upcoming contract offer, the Blues see a lot in him. Of course, he played tremendously well in the Stanley Cup playoffs and in the Stanley Cup final, where he posted 2 goals and an assist. Now it says here the offer to Broberg is a 2-year contract at $4.5 per year, the maximum offer that will require a second-round draft pick as compensation. Now you can see the Oilers, their cap space, they're a little below the cap floor. It all depends, when it comes to keeping one or both of these players. It all depends, on such things like potential trades, like a Cody Ceci trade, a Brett Kulak trade, Evander Kane going out on LTIR, because of course, to get the full benefit of him going on LTIR, he needs to, be certain that he's out for the entire season. Now, when it comes to Dylan Holloway's offer, 22 years old, he's participated in 89 games for the Oilers since entering the league in 2022-23 as a first-round pick, 14th overall in the 2020 NHL draft. So Holloway and Broberg been in the Oilers pipeline for quite a bit here. Of course, he found his spot on the wing there next to Leon Draisaitl for a fair bit. He's had injury problems, but when he's in the lineup, he can be effective. It says here the offer to Holloway is a 2-year contract at $2.29 per year, the maximum offer that will require a third-round draft pick as compensation. Now you can see here, you think who's behind all this, and you can see there Peter Chiarelli with the St. Louis Blues. He's the vice president in hockey operations. So one last dig at his former team there. Make that with what you will. And of course, there's a rumor earlier in the week from the Too Much Hockey podcast that says Dylan Holloway and Philip Broberg are expected to sign 2-year deals next week. Holloway's AAV could be $1.3 million, and Broberg's AAV could be $1.1. So very far off the mark here when it came to the speculation from the Too Much Hockey podcast, because the Broberg contract took me off guard completely. The Blues, I think, made these offers, to sort of scare the Oilers, because in my honest opinion, I think they will, match the Holloway offer, but the Broberg offer, unless they can, manage these cap gymnastics with, Stan Bowman and Jeff Jackson, I don't see a world where this potentially gets done. And Frank Saravalli kind of played the "I told you so" game here, because you can see here earlier on in the offseason, after the Stanley Cup final, believe it or not, in the eyes of Daily Faceoff's Frank Saravalli, however, a team could make life even more difficult for the Oilers by signing Philip Broberg to an offer sheet. And here's what he said. He said, "If I were another team, I'd be trying to offer sheet Philip Broberg. I'd give him 6 years times $4.5 million. So, he was mostly on the money when it came to the money, but not the term. You get a young defenseman who already let you know he was unhappy with his opportunity, because of course, he did request a trade I do believe a year ago, and then Ken Holland sort of told him to, trust the process. He will get you into the lineup. He was into the lineup, and made a case for himself in the playoffs that he should have been playing all year with the way that he played. Now is an important part of your team moving forward, and they don't even have the ability to keep him if they get an offer sheet. There's really no chance to even match that. The surgery you'd have to do to make that happen, it would involve Kane LTIR, and that's lock and key, not coming off LTIR. And even more words here from Frank. You can see there, Philip Broberg, 2 years at 4.5 million. Dylan Holloway, 2 years at 2.29, which is a little more manageable. But I mean, Philip Broberg, you don't get many of those players. They are a hot commodity, and the Blues noticed the Oilers had their backs against the wall cap space wise and took advantage of that, because I mean, offer sheets, you don't really see those often, and when they do, most times they're matched. But with these two, I think again the Oilers will keep Dylan Holloway, but Philip Broberg, I believe, has played his last game in an Oilers jersey, and compensation due is a 3rd round pick for Holloway and a 2nd round pick for Broberg. And then a very, very funny note here, $1 more on the AAV for each player would have bumped up compensation. And like I mentioned, the history of offer sheets, of course, the Oilers do have their history with offer sheets. You know, the Thomas Vanek offer sheet with the Buffalo Sabres back in the summer of 2007. And when that one fell through, they went after Dustin Penner, and it was not matched. And then that sort of led to the whole the infamous story of Kevin Lowe and Brian Burke almost fighting in a barn. Look that one up if you have to. Tremendous story. But you can see there, like, a lot of the offer sheets in the past, there have been some astronomical ones. You can see there the Shea Weber one that was matched. No one knew how that one was even matched. And then there was the Carolina and Montreal fiasco there, where the Canadians tried to poach Sebastian Aho. That was matched, and then 2 summers later, Jesperi Kotkaniemi was poached by the Carolina Hurricanes, and then that one was sort of Montreal got the last laugh in the end there, because Kotkaniemi is making tremendous numbers there, and Montreal is on the up and up. And lastly here, from Scott Bigsify on Twitter, he said, all we heard for years now is how GMs have too much respect and are too afraid to step on toes to screw each other with offer sheets. We hire Stan Bowman, and suddenly that doesn't seem to be an issue. And I think that's kind of funny in the end. Yeah, all the GMs sort of have like a gentleman's agreement and unwritten rules, many unwritten rules when it comes to such things as offer sheets. But when it comes to the Oilers, again, this took me off guard, and we finally got some news here in the middle of August. Not news that I was expecting, not news that I was wanting to see at all with Broberg and Holloway. I mean, I like both players a lot, but when it comes to the numbers that they want, I mean, it's a business. When your organizations haven't really given you a chance to step up consistently. Of course, Broberg got his chance in the playoffs in the Cup final, but it took a very long time for him to crack the lineup game in and game out, when it's not just being a 7th defenseman playing less than maybe 7 minutes a game. You take what you can get here. I don't have any hard feelings for both players. If they do depart for the Oilers, or even if the Oilers do manage to keep both of them, let me know down in the comments what you think about this whole fiasco. Should the Oilers try to keep both? Should they keep one or the other? Which one would you keep? How would you try to make this work? Let me know down in the comments what you think. Have yourselves a great day. Even though the the news that just transpired here for the Oilers, have yourselves a great day. I'm Matt.